I want to circle back. You mentioned something about mentoring before, right? You mentioned me mentoring is an important key to success. Now, I know some firms officially assigned for first year staff a mentor, right? So when I was at Deloitte, I actually had a mentor that was assigned to me. The mentor was a manager, and also I was assigned a buddy who was a senior accountant, someone who had just been there for 2 years. However, these mentoring programs may not always work out, right? Sometimes you're matched with a mentor that may not be that good, or they may just do the bare minimum. They really don't care about your career growth. So my question for you is, how do you go about seeking by yourself, not through the firm, but seeking by yourself? How do you go about finding a good mentor for a person themselves, and hopefully grow from that?
Well, your question leads up to a very important point, and it's 2 points. One, I don't think there's any more valuable career resource you can have than a mentor. I mean, John Wooden, the legendary coach of the UCLA Bruins men's basketball team, says, and I'll paraphrase it from his memoirs, besides your parents, having a mentor is the greatest learning resource a person can have. Okay. The other point is that you brought to light is the mentoring programs that most organizations have are really advisors because they're assigned to you. So they are career advisors. And often it's not so much that they don't care about you, it's that time constraints don't allow them to invest the time on a mutually beneficial basis that enables both parties to get the most out of it. So what is a mentor then? Well, a mentor is a person who has maybe not traveled down the exact road, but who has been down the road of experience. Typically, it's going to be older than you are, okay, more experience than you have, and it's a 50-50 relationship. It's someone who you have found or who approaches you who has your welfare, particularly career welfare, in your best interests. And I think about the several mentors I had. I found them by listening, observation, and asking them if they would be my mentor. And these happened in the most unusual circumstances. Me listening to someone at a meeting. I remember a partner who I never worked for at Deloitte, and he left me a note 1 week before promotions were going to be announced to manager, and he said, Charlie, I was in a partner meeting and a lot of good things were said about you, and though I don't know how this will turn out, I just want to tell you, good job, best wishes for your promotion, and if you ever want to talk, let me know. I never worked for this partner one time in all the years I was at Deloitte. And I went out to lunch. I actually invited him out to lunch and asked him if he'd be my mentor. And I was already a new man. This occurred after I was promoted, about 2 weeks after I was promoted. So it was about 4 weeks after I received this note from him. I didn't even think he knew I was, frankly, alive. And he sent me this note, and I kept that note with me for about 25 years. It meant that much to me. Other mentors I've had, I ended up talking to professors, one of which became a mentor of mine, just because years after, certainly semesters after I'd had him, I would follow up and ask questions. Maybe we would have something to drink, a coffee or a soft drink, and I'd just ask him some questions. There was a connection, and he could have easily said no, but he said yes. And I actually years later invited him to be on a committee with me when I was in my early 50s. That's how much our relationship stayed with each other. So the best way is look out for people who you think care about you, or because of what they say and how they behave, you think that they might have your best interest at heart. Get to know them, but don't be afraid to ask them. And you'll be surprised at how many will say, yes, I would love to be your mentor. Mentoring is this informal process that has a strong emotional bond in which the mentor has the mentee's well-being first in mind, you know. And I've had as many as 3 or 4 mentors. I have a mentor now, and I didn't even, up in at the California Society of CPAs, and he can't be more than 5 years my senior. But just the way he handles himself. When I became, when I was going to be in a succession path for one of the, for the Education Foundation, I looked to how he conducted himself as a role model to how I want to conduct myself. And so, I don't know, even today, every 2 months, I'll send him an email, call him for advice. So mentoring is lifelong, Ming. It's just not, but the impact is profound when you can meet someone when you're in your high school or college years. But the thing is to look for mentors. Look for someone that you think you have a connection with communication-wise. They seem to listen to you. They give you good advice. But learn to use your mentor. You have to reach out. It's a 50-50 relationship. And the mentor is not going to be scheduling the meetings. The mentee is. The mentee needs to reach out. But the mentor is that resource that's always there for you. And they may not even be an accountant. They may not have gone to the school or the college or university you went to. You never know what walk of life they're from. But one thing's for sure. They're there to listen to you and give you advice to help you on your way to success.
You know, I have two, this is really good stuff. I have two follow-up questions about that. One is, when it comes to mentoring, do you actually, you mentioned you just ask someone if they want to be your mentor, or is it something like, for myself, I have some people who unofficially are my mentors. I just tend to call them up a lot, ask them questions. We never have a mentor-mentee relationship, but it's just someone I really respect and I looked up to. So do you think it's more of something where you have to officially approach someone and ask them, or is a casual way okay? And the other question is, you mentioned several times 50-50 relationship, right? And so I'm currently mentor a number of students, and I don't expect anything from them, but I think most people don't operate that way because a lot of people are busy and they kind of, not necessarily monetary compensation, right? But they're looking for the mentee to maybe help them out in some way, shape, or form, I'm guessing. So what are your thoughts about that? What if I am someone who's young in my career and I finally found that mentor, what can I do to help my mentor give back to him or her in some way, shape, or form?
Let me answer your first question, because it's very important what you were commenting on. When you said that you were giving advice to your students, let me ask you a follow-up question. Do you care about their success?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Do you make time for them?
Yes.
When they contact you, is it a priority?
Of course, yes.
You're mentoring them. And you make an excellent point. When I say it's 50-50, and I don't say this one word carefully, I mean that both individuals care, okay? Remember, Teddy Roosevelt once said, no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. that's a mentoring relationship right there. Okay. There's a person at my community college who's in their first semester up at Cal, and they never asked me to be their mentor. But they always asked me for advice or what I thought or for a letter of recommendation. And it evolved into only contacting me at certain times and then anytime. And I always felt invested in their success and that it was a priority. I was a mentor of theirs, and I still am. And so I use the as part of it as more in terms of taking the initiative. And I think your question is good because it allows me to elaborate that it's not necessarily a formal asking, even though it could be, but that it's the importance of taking the initiative to utilize that resource, that individual. Now, you also asked an important question about expectations of the mentor. And I'm going to add a third. I'm going to add a third thing. One, and I'm going to go with that first. One, I don't know everything. An effective mentor never deals in the hypothetical. I never explain or tell my mentees what to do unless I've done it myself. But that's okay, because if I don't know the answer, I know someone who probably does. And what that does is open up my network to my mentees. I'll refer them to someone I know who I think can answer the question or provide information better than I can, because I will tell, if I don't know, I don't know. I never deal in the hypothetical as a mentor. But my expectations are twofold. I want them to take that information and do something with it. I care about their success, that they are successful as life will allow them to be. In terms of what I expect from me, nothing. I expect them to meet a version of myself, a young version of myself, or a young Ming Lu one day, and provide them the gifts that were given to them. That is the payback, if you will, for lack of better words. That's my expectations. Mentors don't expect anything when they care about the success of the individual. From a behavior standpoint, though, most mentors do care that the mentee pay it forward. I think if you were to take a survey, formal or informal, that would show up 90% or more in terms of the answer for payback. Pay it forward.
Yeah, that's what I tell the students I currently mentor, right? Is that hopefully the advice I shared with them will help them be successful. And then someday they're going to be in my position where they can pass it on to someone else and help somewhat uplift another person to be just as successful as they are.
Yeah, the motivation for me is, simply put, think about the individual, or think about myself when I had a question, there was fear of failure, and there was no one to go to. That's a lonely feeling, right? That's a lonely feeling. And I don't want anyone to feel like that. And so that's really the power of mentoring. It's lonely trying to be successful, right? So when I think about that, it certainly motivates me to get involved in those situations where someone asked me to.